This is our itinerary for a week in Maui. Did we follow it? Did we do it all? Did we experience the true aloha culture of Hawaii? Join us as Daniels do an overview of our trip to Maui. This has definitely been the biggest trip for the Daniels so far. And let me first start by saying that this is like an incentive, reward, part of your compensation trip for my husband's work. So some of our schedule and some of the things we did are dictated by that. But here we go. Maui 2024. We leave for the airport at 4:15 in the morning and we flew to San Francisco. We wanted to break up the trip going, so we stayed overnight in San Francisco, which meant we did a bunch of touristy things in San Francisco, including Pier 39 down at Fisherman's Wharf. We did a Discovery Bay cruise. We wish we had done Alcatraz. We walked down the street to do some of the sourdough bakery place. We went to Ghirardelli Square, and then we ended up doing a cable car ride in San Francisco. So we had a full, tiring day in San Francisco to start our trip. We've made a video just about our day at San Francisco. If you want to check that out, I will link it down in the description. So we got up bright and early, and we had a free shuttle to the airport from our hotel in San Francisco. And we had about a 5-hour flight to Maui. Once we landed, we got our rental car. We used Turo. We had a good experience with that. And then we grabbed some lunch at the Raising Cane's Chicken. Never been there before. And then we went to Walmart, picked up some groceries, and went and checked into our hotel, which was the Fairmont in Wailea. They were really great to us when we checked in. Our room wasn't quite ready, but they got us leis, and they got Addison a turtle necklace and a coloring book, and then our room was ready not too long after that. And so we got all the rooms there are suites, very spacious, a very nice place to spend a week in Maui. We got unpacked and just relaxed a little bit before our first group dinner, which was an outdoor buffet, the most beautiful sunset of the week, and where Addison was a sniper for the cookies. The next morning we had meetings to attend, and so we got done before lunch. So we just stayed around outside by the pool, but the pool was kind of busy. So they had these seats with this amazing view you could sit at, and we ordered a pizza from the market and just hung out for a few hours. We had 2 challenges for our evening adventure that night. The first was putting on winter gear in Hawaii when it was 86 degrees. The second was finding dinner for people who don't eat seafood in Maui. That was a challenge all week, but we will probably make another video on how you cannot eat seafood in Maui. So we found Fred's Mexican Cafe and ate a very early dinner because we were heading up to Haleakala National Park for a sunset above the clouds. It was about an 1.5-hour drive from our hotel, up a very windy road. We were up 10,000 feet in elevation. It was about 45 degrees up there. We were above the clouds to see a beautiful sunset. A lot of people go at sunrise, but we think that the sunset was just as amazing without having to get up at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning. The goal for this day was to drive towards the northwest coast of Maui, but first we stopped at Kihei Cafe for a delicious breakfast. I had the pineapple coconut French toast. Kids had chocolate chip pancakes. Then we hit the road with the goal to drive straight to the Nakalele blowhole. Now, a piece of advice is to get the Shaka app, and they have tips for this route as well as the Haleakala National Park, which we wish we had used the night before, and we used it for the road to Hana. So my advice is get it ahead of the trip and download these excursions in the days for you to use the app. They tell you where to turn and places to go see. Now the challenge part for us was the app didn't work backwards, and our goal was to drive straight to the Nakalele blowhole, which was the furthest point we wanted to go, and we were going to work backwards. So we had some challenges with that, but we got to the Nakalele blowhole. We started hiking down. It started pouring down rain. So in my head, we were going to hike down and get drenched. And then, so we went halfway down, turned around, came back up. Little did we know, it lasted like 90 seconds of pouring down rain, and then it stopped. But we had already turned around, climbed back up the hill, and most of us didn't want to climb back down. The only other good news was the lady had just arrived who was selling chocolate chip banana bread that was still warm. That was a bonus. Essentially now we were heading back the way we came. We stopped at several overlooks and places to see the beauty and to take some pictures. And so then we found our way to D.T. Fleming Public Beach. It was tricky to find a parking place, but we did. And then we couldn't find where the trail was, so we asked how you find the Dragon's Teeth. So we found the trail to that, went out to the Dragon's Teeth, took some pictures there. And by this time it was really hot and we were getting worn out. We did, however, make it in time to get some Papi's Ohana cinnamon rolls in Lahaina. Those were amazing. We drove by Lahaina and saw where the fires had happened. It was the 1-year anniversary of those fires, and we were just making our way back through and could see some of the devastation that was there. We were tired and grumpy and had just all shared a cinnamon roll, but we had not eaten lunch, so we stopped at Leota's kitchen and grabbed a little bite to eat, but nobody wanted a pie, which they're famous for. We continued on and made a stop at this cute little lighthouse, took some pictures there, and then we headed back to our hotel. Not before we tried to get Ululani's shave ice, but the line was incredibly long. It was really hot and we were pretty tired, so we kept moving. That night we had another outdoor buffet dinner, and that one also included a luau. Okay, our next big adventure was the road to Hana, which may deserve its own video, we'll see. But we left super early in the morning, and our plan was to go straight to the Black Sand Beach, sort of. So we used the Shaka Guide app again. It was very helpful. We made a few stops. We had a little bit of car sickness, and we went to Aunt Sandy's. It's a small detour out of the way to get some banana bread. My favorite was in this random lava tube on the side of the road. We climbed in, but we made it to Black Sand Beach, and you have to have a reservation for that. So we did the 10 o'clock in the morning, and we made it with no problem. The girls kind of wish they put their swimsuits on and went swimming, but it's a lot to change into a swimsuit, get wet, then get back in a car and drive some more. So they didn't. We went to the Black Sand Beach and just kind of played in the water up to, in their ankles. And then there's a lava tube there that's really cool. So we hung out there for a bit and got back in the car to keep driving for our next adventure, which was the PPY trail. But first we grabbed some lunch. There was a food truck where we got a plate of ribs, and then there's this famous Huli Huli chicken stand. So we went there, and there's some tables and stuff, and we sat and watched the ocean and ate lunch. It was really pretty. We continued down the road, and we got to see the Waialua Falls, which were really pretty. And then we continued on to the PPY trail, which our thought process was, a lot of people say go first thing in the morning when it's cooler and you have energy. But my family needed protein in our bodies before we did that hike, so we scheduled it after lunch. And so it's a 2-mile hike to the Waiamoku Falls. You go by an awesome banyan tree, and you go through the bamboo forest, and then you get to the waterfalls and turn around and hike 2 miles back. It was struggle bus for the Daniels. Daniels don't do hikes, but it was pretty and we enjoyed it and we felt accomplished. We were exhausted and gross and made the very long trip back down the road to eat dinner at Paia Flatbread, to have pizza, and to end a very long, tiring day. Thankfully, the next morning we didn't have any plans. We could sleep in, go relax by the pool for a little while. Then we went to lunch at a food truck place, and then we headed back down the road to Hana, but not very far, to go to Jungle Zipline, to go ziplining. So we got geared up, and unfortunately Greg isn't in any of the pictures because he had the phone zipped up in his pocket. But it was a lot of fun. It was probably my favorite thing that we did. We got to do 8 lines through like the jungle, and it was a lot of fun. The only downside was after hiking 4 miles the day before, we had to hike in between the zip lines and go up steps and things, and my body was screaming at me. But it wasn't, it was like a total of a mile, she said, that we hiked, but in between zips. So it was a lot of fun. Great day. And then after we were done, we were supposed to go to Twin Falls, to the waterfalls, to go swimming. I was very looking forward to getting some treats at their little stand. They sell stuff, and swimming in a waterfall pool and cooling down. But unfortunately, they were closed, and so we couldn't do that. So we went to Haleakala Beach, which is where we were going to go just to look at turtles. But we decided to get in and swim and cool down there for a little while before we went to our dinner that night. We actually had dinner reservations for this night, so not until 7 o'clock. So we went back into Paia and found Toby's Shave Ice and got a treat. And it actually turned 6 o'clock, which was actually midnight in Eastern time. So Ansley considered it her birthday. So we celebrated her birthday with some shave ice before we went to a nice dinner. This dinner was at Fuego Argentinian Steakhouse, and it was on a golf course, which of course made Greg very happy to have. But it was very pretty as a background, and we had a nice steak dinner. The kids had pasta. They didn't sing, but they brought Ansley a birthday brownie, and it was a very nice dinner. Friday was officially Ansley's birthday, so she wanted to go shopping. We got some souvenirs. She wanted cheeseburgers and milkshakes. We went to Cool Cats for lunch. We got an afternoon by the pool, and then we had our final farewell dinner out by the beach, and another beautiful sunset to wrap up our time at Maui. Saturday morning, we just got up and checked out and went to a very local place called Tasty Crust. They're known for their pancakes, and it was kind of near the airport, but a little smidge out of the way. But we went there for breakfast, had a great breakfast, got our rental car turned in, checked in the airport, and headed for a 2 5-hour flights. So we flew straight to San Francisco, had a 1.5 to 2 hour delay, and another 5-hour flight back to RDU to return at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning. We had a wonderful week in Maui. It was a beautiful vacation for our family. We learned a lot about Maui. We hope that you learned something and got some tips from watching this video. If you did, if you could give us a thumbs up, that would be awesome. Mahalo for watching our video, and stay tuned to see what the Daniels do.